All right, welcome back, and let's continue this discussion now on the judgment of the appeal court on Justice Ngajiwa, and I'm now being joined by Deba Adediro, who is, of course, maybe the chairman, I should say, of the group known as CACOL. That's Center for Corruption.
Center for Anti-Corruption.
Yes, Center for Anti-Corruption and
Open Leadership.
Open Leadership. Thank you very much for coming on the program.
It's my pleasure.
Were you shocked when you saw that Court of Appeal judgment?
No, I wasn't shocked because a number of jurists have been making cases, for such things. Even when the DSS raided the houses of some of the judges, accusing them of hiding some hard currencies and bribe money in their homes. And it has also been insinuated that some of the judges are also afraid that their own turn may eventually come. And they decided, maybe that was the reason why they decided that they must protect some of their own. So I wasn't shocked, but I am amazed that they can do it with that level of brazenness, without even considering the appropriateness of the ruling, to the interest of the vast majority of Nigerians. We know that the president, the vice president, governors, and deputy governors are covered by immunity. That is constitutional immunity. And we also know that judicial immunity covers the judges based on what they do while they are adjudicating into cases in courts. But they should not extend it to criminal activities like aiding and abetting, bribery, and corruption, and all of the stealing, and all those ones, because those aspects of offenses are not part and parcel of what they are expected to be doing on the bench. So I feel embarrassed that somebody can be that brazen and just say that EFCC doesn't have.
How damaging do you think this is for the fight against corruption?
It is monumentally.
It's a judgment today.
It is a judgment that has upturned the judgment of the Supreme Court of Nigeria. So that is the first damage. That look, how could you just look at it? Because when you look at what Gadifayemi did with the former Inspector General of Police, it has been said that a sitting governor, those who are enjoying immunity, can be investigated. Even if they are not to be tried. That after the expiration of their tenure, they may be tried for whatever findings the the law enforcement agencies found against them. But the present judgment is saying that they don't even have to investigate, because they are an agency different. That it's only NJC. That NJC. So the judgment seems to be presuming that NJC is higher than the Court of Appeal. No, Court of Appeal, that he has to hold his own court first and had to find somebody guilty before any agency can pry into it, or before they take them into any court. That is not supposed to be. What we believe is that nobody should be treated as being above the law, no matter how influential, no matter how powerful, no matter how crafty. They should, the law should recognize everybody as being equal, to the extent that if you committed a criminal or even if it's civil activity that is not part and parcel of that areas where you have immunity, you should be ready to face the full wrath.
What would an organization like yours do about this situation now?
Well, we cannot do more than what we've been doing to advocate for the rule of law, rather than rule of the thumb. Because what the judgment of the Court of Appeal is presuming is like creating a new law that we protect the jurists and expose Nigerians to brazen lawlessness in the areas of those that should be the bastion of justice to be it's like giving them a blanket cover that they can obtain bribe and they can get away with it as long as the NJC, who are basically composed of their colleagues, who know that some of them have committed similar offenses which they will want to cover up. So it's like rub my back, I rub yours. So it's exposing us to that danger. So impunity will now begin to govern our environment much more than what we have even witnessed before. To the extent that corrupt elements, those who engage in corruption, know that they know which of the judges they can easily bribe, and they can continue to play their games the way they used to play it, asking for injunctions, asking for leave to travel, and so on and so forth. And the case, in Nigeria, most of our leaders are not in a hurry to clear their names of corruption allegations and all that. So they want to kind of waste the time of the court until the courts are frustrated, maybe the witnesses are frustrated, the evidences are obliterated, and so on and so forth. Not minding...
Very quickly now,
yes.
Very quickly, just before I let you go, something happened last week, of course, during the week, and the attack on the home of the acting chairman now, the EFCC, Magu. It's not the first time he would be coming under attack, an attack of that nature. What do you make of that?
Well, it is an index of the sensitiveness and the danger that is inherent in the business of fighting corruption. What they did may not necessarily be that that was their target. Maybe just to send a warning signal that, look, we are after you. And that is why over the years we have been saying that, look, everybody in the anti-corruption agencies should be protected themselves.
Yeah, because it appears that they're not well protected.
They are not well protected from what we see. The training that their officers have should be, improved upon, and the security around their homes and homes of their relatives should also be more fortified. To the extent that if anybody committed such an offense, it won't take time before the law catches up with such a person. But that is one of the dangers that is inherent in fighting corruption. Even those of us who are not official agents of government, a number of threats, here and there and all that, we are endangered species, because those that commit all of these corruption offenses are very mean. They are sadists.
Mr. Deba Adeniran, thank you very much for coming on the program.
It's my pleasure. It's my pleasure.
On DEJI360, we don't just ask the questions. What is wrong with amending the Constitution the way the National Assembly members have been doing it? We seek answers.
Constitution is constituent. Our problem is not lack of laws. Our problem is lack of the willpower to implement our laws.
Answers that provide clarity.
While we negotiate, we should try to make it a point that the girls must be complete.
The clarity you need to make informed judgment so that you can make the right decision and take action. People are saying it is you politicians that are responsible for this, that you are the reason why this is happening.
All these dollars that call themselves governors in this country?
I wish we had people like Tony at the National Assembly.
God forbid that I go to join that ballot.
DEJI360, providing clarity to issues.